Some of you might have had Psions as a PDA close to 10 years ago. Psion Revo, for example, used to be fairly popular. Manufactured by a company in the United Kingdom, which later on stopped making hardware and started making just an operating system, which then other mobile players started to invest in. Today the company is owned by Psion, by Sony Ericsson, I think Motorola still owns something in it, and Nokia. And it only makes operating systems. And it is the king of the hill at the moment. Then when we look at statistics from our internal sample inflow, this is where we are today. From summer 2004, when in June we found the very first mobile phone virus, Kabir, to where we are today. Right now we have 372 mobile phone viruses, Trojans, or spying tools. If you compare that to the PC side, where we have over 300,000 mobile viruses and Trojans and what have you. So it's quite a big difference, but that's where we are on the mobile side. And we can divide those examples of malware to basic groups: viruses, worms, Trojans, and spy tools. And of course, there are many other things that could eventually appear, but hasn't appeared yet, including mobile rootkits, which is a nasty thought. Mobile worms that would be completely automated, would spread without any user involvement or without needing any social engineering parts. Haven't seen mobile botnets yet, and trust me, those probably will appear sooner or later. Botnets that, well, one thing that does worry me about these mobile threats and mobile malware is that if you think about problems like spam, everybody keeps getting email spam all the time. It's been a big problem for 10 years already. But we don't get mobile spam that much. No, mobile spam, I mean like text messages or multimedia messages with, images in there and things like that. That really doesn't seem to be a big problem anywhere in the world. And the reason is you can send email for free, totally for free. You cannot send mobile content for free. There's no easy way to do it totally free. You can do it for very, very low cost, but that's not going to help you if you want to spam, which means you want to send out millions and millions of messages. So sooner or later, some player out there will figure this out, and we will see mobile botnets or something like the fact that a mobile virus or mobile Trojan or perhaps a game is being distributed with hidden functionality. And then, in the middle of the night, all the devices that have the malware running will start to send MMS Viagra ads to every single phone number in the phone book. And of course that nicely creates free content delivery for the spammers. Now they not only can send content anonymously, they can also send it for free, and they also have the target list who to send it to by using the phone books of the devices. Hasn't happened yet, but it's such an obvious development that it will probably happen sooner or later. Now we also haven't seen large-scale profit-oriented malware on mobile devices, which means we haven't seen much professional virus writers. And of course, that's exactly what we are seeing on the PC side, professional virus writing. Vast majority of the stuff that we see on Windows today are being written by professional virus writers who make a living by writing viruses. Who wake up, go to work from 9 to 5 and just write viruses and make their living out of that. Happens all the time. We haven't really seen that on the mobile side. So let me illustrate that to you. I have here a photo which was taken either in 2000 or 2001 in the city of Prague in Czech Republic. This is 29A, one of the last old school virus writing gangs, which wrote viruses for the heck of it. Wrote viruses because they could. Wrote viruses for fame. Wrote viruses that broke new grounds. They especially like to write viruses for new platforms, like the world's first 64-bit virus and the world's first Windows NT virus, things like that. This group doesn't exist anymore. They got disbanded or broke up a couple of years ago. But they had no higher cost. They never spread their viruses. They basically published them in their own online magazine and so on. But then I have here another photo. This photo was taken last November in the city of Balakov in western Russia. We have here from left to right, Mr. Alexander Petrov, Mr. Denis Stepanov, and Mr. Ivan Maksakov. Ivan Maksakov, the guy in the white jacket, wrote a bot, Windows bot, which they distributed and infected around 200,000 PCs around the world, which they then used to launch denial of service attacks against mostly US and UK web shops and companies. And they were targeting online shops which only operated in the internet, which didn't have real world shops, just online shops. So if your website goes down, your business halts. And they were asking for ransoms to stop the attacks. In the early days of their attacks, they were asking for $20,000 a pop, later on $40,000 a pop to stop the attacks. And they attacked several hundred websites, in the end earning over $4 million US before they were caught. So, these guys did it to earn $4 million. These guys did it for fun. For $4 million, for fun. For $4 million, for fun. Spot the difference. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the change that we've seen on the PC side. Started like 5 years ago. Today, vast majority of the stuff we see is written by guys like these. Hasn't yet happened on the mobile side. We've seen some examples, but nothing major yet. And of course, mobile devices are, totally different from this perspective, because there's no easy, straightforward way to convert infected Windows boxes to money. You can try to find valuable information from the machine, like scan the hard drive for credit card numbers and steal them, or scour all the email addresses from all the files and sell them to spammers. That's one thing that they do. Or steal your World of Warcraft logins, then steal the gold and sell it in eBay. That happens too. Steal credentials to, online logins to banks, or insert extra transactions when people go to pay their bills. Happens too. Or do what these guys did, launch denial of service attacks, ask for ransom money. These are all things that are happening all the time, but they are all quite complex, don't you think? Lots of steps to do to convert an infected box into money. And that's because there is no built-in billing mechanism in Windows boxes. However, there is a built-in billing mechanism in this. We are all paying, well, if not a monthly bill, then a pay-as-you-go bill or something. These are directly tied into account and into money. So if you can own lots of these, you can convert that to money directly. Make the infected phone call a premium rate number or send premium SMS messages. As simple as that. So from the attacker's point of view, the potential for making money out of infected devices is much easier to fulfill with infected phones than with infected computers. Again, from our statistics about what we've been seeing starting from 2004. So it's been pretty much exactly 3 years now since we saw the first attacks, or first malware on mobile devices. So that's the total where we are today. And as you can see, it is Symbian that is the main issue. Other platforms are almost insignificant on this matter. Of course, we can't ignore the fact that Java has a couple of malware running on it, and which then means it runs on pretty much anything. But these really aren't spreading in the wild. So, and then if we categorize these by type, we'll see the vast majority of those mobile malware are Trojans, which means they don't even try to spread further. Viruses try to spread further using variety of mechanisms to do that. Trojans just install on the phone, they do something nasty, and that's it. They don't even try to spread anywhere after that. And then we have spyware. Now, if you look at these Trojans a little bit closer, we quite quickly realize that the motives of these guys writing malware for mobile device right now are pretty stupid, or pretty childish. So what they're trying to do is to cause damage, destroy files, prevent your phone from rebooting, show stupid messages on screen. Things like what we used to see on the PC side, again, in the early days. And that's an important thing to realize too, because even today, still today in 2007, there are people out there who are worried about Windows viruses, that the virus will infect my home computer and it will destroy my files. Well, hello, that doesn't happen today at all anymore. We aren't seeing destructive viruses on Windows platforms at all. Yeah, it used to be the norm. That's what they did 10 years ago. Today, I don't remember. It must be 2 years since the last time we saw a destructive virus, which would just destroy your files or format your hard drive for fun. Because the attacker doesn't benefit anything if he deletes files from random people around the world. So they don't do that. However, we still see that, exactly that, deleting files, deleting phone books, preventing rebooting of the phone on the mobile malware side. So in many ways, if we saw the first PC virus in 1986, in many ways, from the point of view of that, we are now living 1989 when we look at the mobile malware, where we are and what they do. So cases like the Doom boot family breaks the phone, won't let your phone reboot again. Skulls breaks phone services, like you can't send messages, can't surf the web, can't launch the camera. Mosquito and Red browser start to send SMS messages in large scale to premium rate numbers. BB stealer steals your phone book and then doesn't try to send it to the guy who wrote the virus. It tries to send it to any random recipient who happens to be close by. So it steals information from your phone and sends it to someone else, which is, I'm sure, very funny. Card block. This only affects the memory card of your phone. As you know, almost all smartphones have an external memory card. So it will try to lock the memory card. And this is a feature of memory cards. They can be locked with a passcode. So it generates a random passcode and locks the memory card, making your card, which could be, $100 worth it might cost you $100 to buy a big card, and it would make it useless. And card block, last example here, deletes your email, your SMS messages, and other stuff from your phone. So destructive in different ways. I should also note that we've seen quite a few destructive Trojans and viruses for mobile devices, but we haven't seen anything that we couldn't clean. Even if you have something like Doom boot, which prevents your phone from rebooting, we can still get it up and working by using special memory cards that have been prepared and then booting from the memory card, basically. So we haven't yet seen anything that we couldn't get out of the phones. We have seen stuff that will... we've analyzed, for example, the PSP, Sony PSP game console Trojans. And we have seen game console Trojans which will break the PSP, so it won't. We can't recover it, and Sony couldn't recover it anymore. So it's pretty nasty things. But we haven't seen that on the mobile side, not yet anyway. Then we will look how these things actually arrive to the user. Vast majority of these require the user to actually download it from the web and install. These are the different Trojans that are being distributed on Symbian download sites. That, here's a shareware application which will double your web surfing speed. Or here's a neat game. Or here's nude pictures of Christina Aguilera. And people download them and put them on their phones. But then when we look at replication mechanisms like real viruses, then Bluetooth beaming is by far the most common. MMS, multimedia messages, is the next one. And memory cards is the least used version. That's when we look at the numbers of the actual viruses. Then when we look at the real world, talk to people who actually have been infected or have been affected by some of this mobile malware, and look how they got it. It looks a little bit different. By far the most common mechanism of being hit by something like this is that somebody beamed it to you over Bluetooth. Number 2, multimedia messages. Number 3, downloading something. And number 4, memory cards. And there are, of course, other mechanisms that could be used to spread mobile phone malware, but they haven't been used yet, like mobile email. Not a single attempt yet by anybody, by any of the mobile phone virus writers, to write a virus which would replicate over email, which is, frankly, quite surprising, looking how all the phones support email. Not a single attempt to spread infections through SMS, which would be pretty trivial to write, an SMS virus, but nobody's tried it. Wi-Fi, peer-to-peer, instant messaging, these are all possibilities, but only those 4 mechanisms have actually been used